podcast and then move on to other business and then come back. I know, so I'm telling you that. So if you want to go in the kitchen,
We could just sit and watch. I mean,
yeah,
it's
you
not-
could,
It's still a public meeting.
yeah, you can sit and watch, but chairs in the kitchen. There's extra. Okay. You have a copy of the minute, or the agenda, you guys are all set? Yeah. Okay.
I'll take it back if you have an extra one.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We got extra.
What's that? Oh, I forgot to do this. What?
Yeah, why? Is that a mistake?
They came in separate emails first.
Doesn't make any sense. But what's this one?
Oh, yeah, I can cover that. I just. So. Are we going, can we call the meeting in order first? It is, it's all set?
Yep.
Oh, all right, so good evening, everybody. It's 6:36 PM. Zoning Board of Appeals meeting in the town of Deerfield. It's in a hybrid fashion. I'm supposed to read this whole situation here, apparently. This meeting will be held in a hybrid fashion with the opportunity for both in-person attendance and remote participation in accordance with Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, which extended the governor's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20 until March 31st, 2023. Please note, while an option for remote attendance and or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast. Unless otherwise required by law, members of the public with a particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. For purposes of in-person attendance, the town will host the meeting in the main meeting room of the Deerfield Municipal Offices with remote participation details noted below. Right. So we're going to call the meeting to order and have a roll call of the members present.
Dave Sharp.
Okay.
David Potter.
Adam Sokolowski.
Jennifer Remillard.
Alex Hirschenreiter.
Okay, so on the agenda, we have minutes to be approved for June and August. I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
I second.
Okay, and we'll just make a notation that Alex is you're gonna add the Zoom links, right, or recording links? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Alex Hirschenreiter, aye.
We're supposed to say your names too. We
Oh,
might
'cause we're
get
online.
penalized for that.
It's
Oh.
because it's a hybrid meeting. You have to actually.
Yeah.
Jennifer Remillard, aye.
Okay, all right. Adam Sokolowski, aye.
David Potter, aye.
Dave Sharp, aye.
Okay. All right, so that new business. public hearing, application filed by Jeff Brinsky for a special permit for the property located at 951 River Road, map 9, lot 7, for use as a contractor yard to store parked vehicles, tool supplies, other various items for business use, including equipment as provided by the zoning bylaw, chapter 179, 5300. Entertain a motion to open that public hearing.
So moved. Or do I have to say the whole motion?
I second.
No, I think we can abbreviate it. I think it's fine. Okay, Mr. Brinsky notified us that he is going to be running late due to an emergency. Is anybody else here on the meeting for Mr. Brinsky? Okay, so with that, we're gonna just leave the public meeting open, the public hearing open. And we'll return to that when Mr. Brinsky is present this evening. So now, in our mail, the last couple times, there's been notices by adjoining towns of special permits. So there is in the state zoning laws a requirement to notify, in some instances, changes of use to property. So they've been sending it to us, but I guess they've been sending it to other people too. I don't know as if we're the people that should be getting it, but they're kind of over sending it out, I think. There was an issue when this community changed zoning, and they didn't notify the abutting communities. And the Attorney General's office flagged that with a change. So in some of those instances, though, I have identified that the town of Deerfield was in a butter by just pulling up a parcel. And one of those that got sent to us was, and it was in last month's mail, was, I said, well, I brought it to the attention of staff. I said, well, the water district is a butter, not us, not the town. So, and I said, we're not in a position to represent the town on zoning. If the town owns property, then it should be select board's office if there's an issue. So that's why we're getting those. I don't know if we're going to continue to get those, but
So it's not just that it's a budding South Deerfield property, it's just, they're just.
well, in some
abutting.
instances,
It is, but otherwise
was.
it's just random because we're the next town over they're sending.
well, right. And then
Sounds like-
some towns go a little bit further on their butters lists. We do too. It doesn't necessarily be a direct abutter,
Right.
but, and then you could also consider, well, if the town owns the road.
Yeah.
And it's, on the property boundary, like that Greenfield Solar, but it's, it's within enough proximity that.
Yeah.
Well, I have nowhere in our purview do I see that we should be representing the town.
Yeah.
At a zoning hearing
I hear you, yeah.
in any other community, but the town may have interest in the select board's office should.
Yeah.
Handle that.
Oh, I should have got Bob.
Anything else?
What about the second permit application?
So the second permit application, because it was publicly posted in the newspaper, it started at 7. We can't start it before 7.
Oh,
We can take a recess for 10 minutes. and-
Just, sorry, not to be,
Go ahead.
but did you do both minutes at once?
Yeah.
You did the motion? Okay.
All right, we'll take a 10-minute recess.
Actually, I have a quick question.
Okay.
Alex and I had started a long time ago working on different revisions.
Oh, yes.
Was there any changes or did we want to continue with those at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's definitely a good idea to clean up some of that stuff, but with staff turnover,
Yeah, I know it's been hard.
and the other load, but I mean, I think it's something to keep in mind. I mean, if they, we have Amy, you know, if something she wants to start to take on, or if the assistant town administrator job is filled and the new person gets settled in there. I think whatever we can do to make it easier for the applicants, maybe not necessarily easier, but more efficient.
Yeah, I think it was more like we were looking at streamlining it to make
Right.
sure all the questions were answered that we have every time they come up, because they weren't always being answered within the,
No, and it's all
So-
public record, so if you have a good applicant that had everything, you know, filled out and, you know, had a good explanation of everything, then you should say, okay, well, this is what the last person did. You know, and this is what we thought was, you know, an A+ job. Take this so you can refer to it. I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel here.
no,
You know, and a lot of people, you know, don't necessarily want to have the ability to get represented by counsel, but some of those are very good, you know. And they're part of an application that's a public document to say, hey, you know, take a look at this, it's pretty good. So,
Recess for
10 minutes, see,
15 minutes?
yeah, it's 6:45.
Mr. Bernisi can make it in, and then if not, then we'll start the next hearing right at 7. Does anybody want to review this file? Either of these files while we're at recess? Alex, can you print the,
Is it more to the file than just this?
that's the full file. The decision on the last one we did at 9 River Road.
I'll start first.
Oh, do you want?
We're in recess. Yeah, and I totally forgot to get you to approve minutes.
Adam, do you want,
You don't go to jail.
the signed one?
Any
or is it
mistakes in
okay?
Unsigned.
I'll read this over that.
Yep, the railroad yard road one, it's right over there. That's the one you don't want anything to do with. You want to move the one that we had David. What's that? When is that?
Just some kind of email.
Oh, triads.
We're gonna do Wednesday, January 18th.
Oh, I will be in, no, I won't be in, co-response training with at UMass. With not psychologists. But yeah, I have to go to that for a week.
Is that what Susan?
Yeah, I wish I could condense it down to 3 days, but it's, you know, they do hour and a half for lunch. I'd rather bring my lunch box and get. Yeah. I know. With the other people that did it, you know, it's like, it's a 40-hour class, but you get through it in 3 days, you know?
Sometimes I really want to.
Thanks.
Oh, excuse me.
Depends on when the hour and a half lunch is. We have to come back for that.
We're starting at 10.
That's what Jen said that week. 16. Can't remember this the week after, because that's only 4 weeks, that's my.
Yeah, because that's only, yeah, it is.
No, it's, I got it. No,
This is in the packet. This is special permits.
Straight out of it.
So these bullet points here.
Mhm.
But
Mm.
basically,
Right, which they reference it here.
yes.
In the application, or at least in the letter. Is that also part of the application?
Specific. Specific, but explicit, these are the materials
That you
that
should-
tell people,
That you should focus on to get your permit.
tell us
Yeah.
this right off the bat. So
Yeah,
when you-
Do you know if the rebuilding and the old pickle shop has to come to us because that is voted in a quick permit zone and the select board just issued all those permits?
That's their expedited permitting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm gonna have to deal with that. That's what I thought.
Unless for some reason the permitting granting authorities should deny it.
Right. Yeah. Well, the court's a little bit backed up, so.
Years.
Could be years. Oh, I know.
Saw the article in the paper today about steamboat.
Yesterday, yeah.
All companies been using
Well, obviously, a lot of people have been using it for a couple hundred years, not 800 years, a couple of hundred years.
it. I haven't used that one, but I mean, it's about 16 years old.
Yeah. You know, it's,
You plug it in.
I got invited to a wedding. I'm trying to get out of.
It's not your own though.
No, I made it to that one. It's in Philadelphia. It's one of my wife's cousins.
That's a good trip down.
Wow.
Maybe you could get the red background. Right at home down there. Joe maybe left the lights down there.
I went to one down there last year. She's got a whole pack of cousins down there. They're in Collingswood, New Jersey is where they live, but Philadelphia is like the closest city. And so I don't know.
I know you do. That's why I was surprised you didn't know.
Guess it's gonna be pretty windy tonight. Another email from the power company. All right, Alex, you wanna get this thing going again? We got 1 minute left.
It's good.
I'll start reading the notice, then it will turn 7 o'clock. David Teft,
Yes.
you wanna come up to the table here?
Sure.
We've been recording the whole time.
Oh, Amy's here.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So we're back in session here. Public hearing, application filed by David Teff for a special permit for property located at 6 Railroad Yard Road. Map 7, Lot 3, for use as a contractor yard to park and maintain trucks and store associated tool supply and equipment in a C2 district as provided by the zoning bylaw 179-2300. Okay, Mr. Taft. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I have a small trucking company. We've been operating for about 2 years now. And we haul aggregate, asphalt, true stone in Deerfield drives a fair amount of my business. And selfishly, I grew up in the southern Vermont area and eventually we're looking to move north. And so currently my business is based 90% of it underneath Massachusetts, or excuse me, under Vermont and Massachusetts, roughly in a Route 2 corridor up into Vermont and New Hampshire. So.
Okay, what are you looking to do, like the scope of your business there? I mean, you're just gonna be using a parking lot on the south side or southeast side, or the parking area, or you're making any improvements to the property?
I am not the landlord. We'll be looking at making improvements. We will be on the southerly side. There's a building that's roughly, I'd say 30 by 60 is my guess. And we'll be operating out of that building and then parking my equipment there.
Which building is it up there?
And so if you're standing in the road on Rail Yard Road, it would be all the way to the left at that address, 6 Rail Yard Road. It's the old grain. I believe they had grain there.
Farm Bureau building?
Yeah, it's the only one standing there. If you go down the road, yeah, before you get to the do not enter sign.
I'm just sharing my screen.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
I thought that building belonged to somebody else.
but he's gonna be leasing.
No, not the railroad, but I thought it belonged to the guy from Northampton.
But it doesn't belong to railroad.
Who owns the building?
Philip Nash.
Yes.
I'm going to exclude myself from this here.
Oh, okay. Well, where,
Potential conflict of interest, so I'm going to stay out of it.
okay, all right.
The application actually says it's owned by an LLC. So I don't know the, members of the LLC, but it doesn't look like it's owned individually by the person who potentially.
I think,
Yeah, I still think I'd be prudent not to be involved.
okay. All right.
Back to the kitchen.
Yeah,
I don't even have to stay.
no, all right. Well, thanks for your effort here, Bob.
Yes.
Anyway. Kind of thought that.
All right, well, now you know.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here.
Easy meal.
We get big bucks for it anyway, right?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Hi, Mr. Taft.
Hello.
I do have a question for you. In the email response that you gave to Amy, you indicated that you would be keeping the trucks will be inside and kept warm. Is that just through heat that's from the building, or do you plan on idling the vehicles for a certain
No.
duration of time before they're
No.
sent out?
No, at $5 a gallon, I can't afford to idle. That's, also, that's one of my reasons for moving closer to into Deerfield near True is that my truck runs probably about 60 miles a day without producing any revenue. So it would save me a fair amount of money. So internally, during the winter, from past experience working on equipment in the winter, I ache. So a warm building is very welcome and attractive to me.
What's your fleet size that's gonna be there?
Right now, I got four trucks. Yep. There.
Aggregate. Yeah. You said aggregate.
Yes. Yep. 100% is aggregate right now.
In your email, you also indicated that you're not going to really be leaving any materials on site. They'll just be preloaded and not put on the ground. So it's basically just transportation of the materials that you carry back and
Yeah.
forth from job site to job site.
Yep, exactly. You know, there's, again, you know, True Stone and Delta, those are the areas that, you know, are gonna obviously house the material. So it's a, you know, quick jump for me to grab something and then head to a job site with it. So there'll be, unless I have a breakdown with material in the back, I'll never have, you know, a bulk lot of material there. It just doesn't make sense for me.
Thank you.
You're
Any
welcome.
on-site fuel storage?
No.
I would just, I mean, I'm fine with it. I would just say that, if, I would just condition the permit if the board wanted to, that, he provides his contact information to the board. If anything changes, you know, basic ones we do, the permit stays with him. It doesn't go with the property. If in the event he changes his business to moving any type of tank or hazardous materials, that he works with the fire department to make sure that that's out there, that it's clearly posted, you know, at the entrance to the lot, you know, if that should change. So it would be conditioned. So if he does change it to that, or if the board members want him to come back, if he starts moving anything that's placarded, that's up to the discretion of the board. That's my only thought. On safety up there is, you know, obviously if you're moving rock and sand, very safe. Sometimes things change, you know, even their liquid asphalt's very safe. It's just hot and burns people and it spills, but it doesn't, you know, it's not explosive, but
Yeah.
Everything else sounds fine to me. You know, I'm just sort of looking at our criteria here and it seems like an industrial area, right? It's already, so as far as neighborhood character, you know, social, economic impact, utilities and public services, you have what you need there.
yeah. I mean, the other thing, you know, if we wanted to think about the rest of River Road, we can condition a special permit to they exit and they go, you know, out to 5 and 10, the closest way. They don't take the entire length of River Road south. Which, you know, there is I mean, that's just an idea. I don't know if it's really too enforceable, but I mean, I guess if you got complaints that, you know, the best access would be, you take River Road to 5 and 10 by Cheapside Bridge, not all the way to Sunderland.
Yeah, because the bottom part of River Road is still being reconstructed and having all that other damage done before, so. But can you enforce that?
Yeah, I think if you can you can put a special, you know, condition on the permit. I mean, it is quicker and smoother to go that way too. I mean,
So which way?
out to 5 and 10 straight out to
Yeah.
Cheapside, not to go,
Mhm.
you know, if you were going south to take River Road all the way south to 116. But I mean, it's also a 4-truck operation here, not a 40.
Which would probably be good, right?
Right, I mean, we could also limit, you know, the size to 10 trailer trucks or, you know, that seems fair. He's got 4 now, it gives him some time to expand.
I think something said 8 trucks in the application now.
What size are the trucks?
I have 2 dump trucks, 1 tractor, and then a smaller service truck.
And are there parameters that are, you know, built into this as far as like how big of, you know, could he put any size truck on there he wants?
It says 8 trucks in store. It says 8
I understand, yeah, as
Oh, Class
application,
8, sorry.
class 8 truck.
Yeah, it's a size.
That's a
Just
size,
the-
full size
Yep.
truck.
Sorry, it's not 8.
What you
That's all right,
see, like,
not a
paving
problem.
road would be the size of something.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering if his business changes, right? And
Right.
If he starts putting, you know, 18 wheelers there.
Right,
Does
so
that
he's,
work? Is that,
yeah, I mean, we want to make sure that he has that ability because that's
Yeah.
part of his business now.
Yeah, I've got 1 tractor, which will in the future be pulling a trailer.
Tractor,
Yes.
trailer.
Yep, I'm sorry, I should have specified better for you. Yes.
Um, Yeah, as I recall, there was somebody else that was before this board, maybe who's coming back? Is that the person who's coming back?
Yeah.
It's in the same neighborhood?
Same neighborhood, yep, the other applications, the
So
same
just
neighborhood.
the
yep.
idea of traffic flowing, industrial, commercial traffic, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, True Stone with their blacktop plant will put out a truck sometimes as quick as every 90 seconds. Out of the blacktop plant up there. And, with their asphalt terminal, sometimes they're filling trailer trucks, like, starting at 2 o'clock in the morning every 10 minutes.
Okay, and that's in the rail yard.
No, that's just a little bit closer. It's the asphalt terminal. It's Allstate Asphalt, Liquid Asphalt Terminal.
Okay.
They do both ways. They bring asphalt in by rail car. And then they also, do stuff as new as, they're doing a pilot project now with straws where they're taking shredded straws and they mix things into the liquid asphalt that then gets sold to other places that make blacktop with the liquid asphalt. But they also use a lot of it to make their own blacktop. So, but they're in the Northeast region,
So a lot of traffic.
there's a lot of traffic in and out of there.
Are we just, able right now to limit potentially his traffic, his 4 trucks or?
Right, I
trucks
mean,
down
yeah, I mean,
River
it's just,
Road?
it's a thought. I mean, I think that if someone has a type of business like this gentleman has, the right place for him is, that a good place for that type of business is in the rail yard.
Mhm. Otherwise.
Close to
people-
it, not in the, but if you saw on the map.
Typically, though, you find that people are coming in and out off of 5 and 10.
I would say 95 to 99% of the trucks that go in and out of,
Right, because they're not coming from River Road.
Right.
Whereas you have this sweet
No.
spot, but.
No.
So then I'm more in line with saying, yeah, if we could just say limiting, don't use the 5 and 10,
right,
that seems like a good thing for our neighborhood. And not cramping the style too much. I mean, you still, like everybody else, is pretty much coming out to 5 and 10 to go south.
It would seem a little bit unfair to limit this person with half a dozen trucks if there's no limit on the other folks who have much bigger operations. I guess that's all I would say. Just
I'm not saying we have
No,
to,
no,
I'm
no.
like, I'm saying like, just based on our baseline conditions that we normally want as far as the,
yeah,
that they keep their contact information up to date with the town hall,
Yeah.
that if the business changes, that they have to come
Yeah.
back to us.
Yeah, and my name's on the door when I drive out of that yard every morning.
Yeah.
So there's no way that I want to create any hard feelings with anybody within that area. And 90% of the time, we do go right. And I'd say 99.9% of the time, the trucks are restricted, based off of the business owners there, that they tell their drivers that, River Road is off limits. It's small too, it's small, it's narrow, those dumps, they're, 77,000 pounds rolling down through there. So, there's not a lot of room. And so for safety purposes and other reasons, I don't say it doesn't happen, but I would say it's very, 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 very rare. So,
The commission would agree with the conditions that you mentioned?
Oh, okay, so we would make a motion to approve the application as presented with a maximum number of vehicles of 10? Or is 10 sufficient for you?
yeah, that's fine. Yep.
We would say that the permit would stay with the applicant and it would not go with the property. And that, if the business changes to tanked or hazardous placarded trucking, that they need to be in regulation with the state fire marshal and with the fire department, and that needs to be posted at the entrance to the parking lot if the vehicles are unattended.
Yeah.
And, proper security should be made to that.
And they need to currently be in contact with the fire department to for now, because they're not really transporting anything.
No, they're fine now. They're just
Just later?
basically aggregate,
Okay.
so,
So can I second that for discussion?
yes, someone can absolutely do that.
Not ready yet, but, okay, so I didn't catch all of the fire marshal stuff, but would the condition, the applicant shall obtain all necessary permits, licenses, and other approval from any board, commission, official, or other agency or agent of the town of Deerfield, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and or federal government cover that? Or does it need to be more?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. We just want to make sure that, you know, sometimes it's good to have that in our enforcement too, where, you know, the building inspector can enforce it if there's an issue. Then the permit, you know, if they're operating outside of their permit, then they can, you know, the building inspector has the authority to shut them down and say, whether it's this or anybody that, you know, they're not complying with the permit, with our special permit.
Would that address the concerns about the flammable materials, or would you like to see it
Well,
exactly?
I would like to say exactly on ours, because, you know, if they're placard and everything, then that's, I would say that, you know, if the business model changes to hazardous materials, placarded trailers or trucks, that they have to come back to us. Because of, you know, really their proximity to the rail yard, which the rail yard is their own separate animal, because we have no control over what they do. And just when you start, you know, mixing hazardous materials and stuff like that around, we want to make sure. But I don't, it doesn't look like you have any idea to go that way, but.
No,
I just-
that's a whole nother animal I'm not ready to
Just
tackle
want to make
anytime
sure
in the near
that we're,
future.
that we're covered down the road.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
That's all.
Yeah.
No, I'm in support of it. I just wasn't sure if I could.
My intentions is to do business in this area for, you know, years to come. And so, you know, I'm here to do it right.
Yeah.
And, you know, so this probably won't be the first and last time you see me.
Where are you based out of now?
Southampton, Massachusetts, but, you know, I got equipment from there, all the way up into Vermont. So I play musical trucks quite often.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, any other discussion? And you want to put in the finding of fact that it meets our,
About the board is, correct me if I'm wrong, but board is overall in support of the special permit as presented. And the benefits outweigh the detriments pursuant to the purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw.
yeah, that works for me. Building inspector, you got anything I see on there? You good with this?
No, I'm good with it. It's a perfect location for it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No butters, nobody's.
No, we can ask, we gotta close the public hearing actually before we can vote on it, but, no one else that's on has anything? We got just an observer here, I guess, so Amy says no, no one else has got anything. All right, so before we approve it, we gotta close the hearing, so I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
My second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call on that.
Aye, Dave Sharp.
Hi, Adam Sokoloski.
I, Jennifer Remillard.
I, Alex Archenrider.
All right. So now that we've discussed those conditions, I think we'll entertain, you know, if you read it back out, Alex, whoever made that motion, now that the public hearing's closed, then we can vote on it. Just so we're procedurally correct.
I may have to work on the flammable or hazardous materials condition, but I can do that. Recording, but do you want me to make the motion?
Yes, or someone can. But if you're
Okay.
good at in front of you where you can read it.
Yep, so I will make a motion to approve the special permit for 6 Rail Yard Road, map 7, lot 3, with the following conditions and authorize the chairman to sign.
Yeah.
And those conditions are the special permit shall remain with the applicant. The applicant shall provide contact information to be on file with the town for emergency purposes. The applicant shall obtain all necessary permits, licenses, and other approval from any board, commission, official, or other agency or agent of the town of Deerfield, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and or the federal government. The maximum number of vehicles to be on the property is to be limited to 10. And the wording may change a little bit, but if the business model changes to include hauling blacktop asphalt or hazardous materials.
No, I would just be hazardous material. Blacktop's not a hazardous material.
Okay.
Be like liquid hazardous material, something.
Okay. Hazardous, if the business model changes to include hazardous materials, hauling hazardous materials, the
Not
applicant
even
shall.
if they're on site.
Okay.
Because if his tractor goes to another place and picks up a tank of gas and that's not on his site, then they don't need to come back. But if they're gonna have hazardous materials on site, then I want them to come back.
If the business model changes to include hazardous materials on site, the applicant shall come back before the board.
Seconded.
Perfect.
Okay. Roll call vote or any other discussion?
Yep, David Sharp, aye.
Adam Sokoloski, aye.
Jennifer Remillard, aye.
Alex Hirschenrider, aye. Perfect.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good
Appreciate your
luck.
time.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to reopen the public hearing from 6:30.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Everybody's in favor of that? Reopen that
Aye, Dave Sharp.
I did.
or continue it? It's a continuance, not reopening.
Yeah,
I forgot my Robert's
I don't
rules
know if we
book
need to
here.
take a. it's
I don't
okay.
think so.
No, I think we're okay. 'Cause we didn't
All
vote.
right, so we have an application filed by Jeff Braniski for a special permit for the property located at 951 River Road, map 9, lot 7, for use as a contractor yard to store parked vehicles, tools, supplies, or other various items for business use, including equipment as provided by the zoning bylaw 179-5300. All right. Jeff, if you could give us an overview of what you're looking to do over there.
All I'm looking to do there really is have a place to keep my vehicles, my employees' vehicles, miscellaneous tools, equipment, trailers. And from time to time, there will be dumpsters with different metals in it to be recycled. There could be, rarely, but there could be a time where there's a dumpster that has several tires in them waiting to go be recycled, and also Freon units. You generally like to collect, several and then bring them at once rather than go every day. It's just trying to save some fuel and time and labor and whatnot. Besides that, it's very rarely will anything but maintenance be done on that property.
Okay. Does anybody from the public or on Zoom have anything for the public hearing? Board members?
I guess I'm just curious about where the Freon stuff is coming from.
We,
Why, you like collect, dispose?
Well, part of, for one area of the business that I have is dumpster rental. Second area is excavation. The third area is estate preparation, clean out. And when, in those cases, tires, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I try to not bring them every day because sometimes we get back to the yard after they're closed or whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have no problem doing it, but it's just more cost efficient not to do it every day. But that's, that's where it comes from.
Do you have to sort through dumpsters? Like
No.
You don't?
No.
I think I missed the detail where the Freon comes from. That you were saying
Just the-
tires?
No, the Freon would come from people's properties. So one area of my business, for instance, somebody, oh yeah, a refrigerator, air conditioner, stuff like that. They're units, Freon units, I should say.
Oh,
Yeah.
and so is it the refrigerator itself, or is there
It could
some
be.
part of a fridge that contains that Freon?
Yes, the compressor does, but the whole unit gets recycled
Got it.
and they dispose of it properly.
So you're collecting some of those appliances essentially.
Well,
and
yes,
some
we
just for
dispose of
efficiency.
them
Yeah.
properly.
But you're not, like, if you rent someone a dumpster, it doesn't go, like, you don't sort trash there.
No.
Or at all. You
No.
just, the specialty things like tires, heavy metal, and Freon is the only thing that you separate out or just.
I
pick
don't,
up?
they don't come from dumpsters, they come from property. So when we, for instance, someone passes away, family wants the house cleaned out, we bring a trailer that the metal goes in.
Yeah.
We bring a rubbish truck that the rubbish goes in to get dumped, and then we have a separate enclosed trailer where any of those items, mattresses, any of that stuff, they go in the enclosed trailer. And then that's where they get transferred back. If they can make it to the recycling facility, they will do them that day. I mean, we get done pretty late, a lot of times. So if we don't have the next day something that applies to that, we'll wait until the next job comes out and we'll already have them in the trailer ready to go. That's just really what.
So you'll end up with a pretty full trailer.
Oh, the trailer's full every time, but it's not of those. If we have to take them out, they go into a dumpster or a bin. They're not on the ground and
Right.
or anything like that. But I want to be clear, the goal is to not have anything there. The only reason
Sure.
I'm saying it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah. Sometimes.
yes.
Did everybody get the email with the applicant's specifics for the criteria?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, good. I know there was one that Amy had a little bit of the first one didn't come through, so I don't know, just wanted to make sure everybody got that. My only concern is property in general up there. It's getting pretty littered with vehicles, not your specific area, but I know the other applicant was here. He's in the audience, the property owner, Doug. So I'm just concerned if the board wants to approve this, should we limit the total number of vehicles? I mean, how many vehicles do you think you need to operate your business? Jeff?
Is this employees when they,
Total, like how many, like, if you got a fleet of 6 trucks and 6 employees, or what do you think you need? Because it's getting a little bit unsightly up there, and I didn't get my counter out, but.
Oh, wait,
Oh, go
if
ahead.
today, so K-Dog Auto has a 15-car limit from the select board's auto license. He's at 7. I did this afternoon after I spoke to you. And then Ryan is at 17. But potentially that's 35 vehicles with Ryan's 20 plus K-Dog's 15 on site as is before this comes into play. Just so you're all aware of that's where the numbers that are allowed would be 20 on Ryan, 15 for the auto sales. Okay.
You broke up at the end, but you actually counted them up and they're right at the levy limit today?
Yeah, there's 17, but then Ryan has his plow truck and boat, so his own personal plow truck and boat, so I'm assuming that's in the 20, or is that not in the 20? I mean, I would look at it like it's in the 20.
I pulled that special permit right out here, and it's 20 total, including boats, so that's what,
So Ryan is on his limit and K-Dog is actually below his limit. But it does look, but there is more than 20 vehicles there,
right.
but it's all within the limits.
I understand that, but I'm just trying to think about,
No, I just want you to know, so when you get into this, I
Right.
mean, that's where we're at.
right, that's my concern is, you know,
How big is
How-
the total parcel of property?
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say the same thing, like what's the, how many cars or
well,
vehicles can you
it's-
fit
it's-
there?
So there's a bunch of different lots. There's one property owner, just because we've been through this before, I'll kind of summarize, it, or maybe Alex can share his screen and we can kind of put it up there if you're not familiar with it.
No, I think I'm looking at it too, yeah.
But,
I see a bunch
so,
That's one lot.
yeah, so the yellow section right here is what Mr. Bernisky is asking for the special permit. And if you see, like, kind of where it kind of dents in a little bit, Alex, on the middle of that yellow line, it's kind of brushed in there, like, if you can't really see back in there too much where Jeff's got his stuff, but,
Am I in the wrong property?
no, you're right there. Scroll down a little bit. So pull, no, other way, up. Up, there we go. Now move your cursor up. All right, so there's a building there right next to River Road. That hasn't come with us to a special permit because apparently it's not required. There's a gentleman there selling used cars, K-Dog, and he has a permit from the selectmen, but around that orange line that goes out towards the road there to the Cheapside side of it, to the railroad bridge side of it, other way to the railroad bridge, if that's your eye, Alex. To the railroad bridge side of it, there's a bunch of vehicles in there, and then there's some more on the other side and some boats. And it seems like the number of vehicles is slowly growing on the property. And they're right up to their levy limit on what they can have there on that. So, see it where it says 6 on the left side of the screen to the railroad bridge there, Dave?
Under the blue dot right
Yeah,
there?
it says 6. So
Yeah,
that
okay.
6 is where Doug here, the property owner has his special permit that he just got from us. He had amended so he could have 20 total vehicles or boats. And that includes if they're registered or they're not registered or whatever, he's at a
Yeah.
maximum of 20.
Yeah.
And he's right up to that. So
But this is a different parcel of property.
well, it's the same property owner, but it's a different possible property, so. We should just be cognizant that if. If trees get trimmed or, is it a place where we should ask the applicant or. You put a condition in on maybe some vegetation or some better screening. Or not, I mean, I'm up to the boards, whatever the board really wants to do. I mean, there's a lot of business and activity on that 901 River Road drive, or not 901, the True Stone driveway, where all the trucks come out constantly, and you can see that on the other side. But, you can't really see their property, what they're doing back there would blow your mind if you drove in there and looked at it, but you can't see it from the road. So that was just a thought, and it was just, should we, what does the applicant need? Run his business, what is he looking for? How many vehicles does he need to have on site? And if he's gonna use that parcel, is he, gonna have some fencing or keep his kind of stuff separate or not? What his thought was on that, so we know, if his business continues to grow, at what point should he come back to us, or at what, are we comfortable with letting it grow to 20 or 30 vehicles or not? That's, I think, the question that we have, that I have.
It's never gonna be all at once, because I have a potential of 6 employees.
Right,
cars there.
right.
But then they're taking 6 vehicles out of there. So
Right.
it's never gonna be,
Right, but you have 6 employees today,
Yes,
so what
yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
is, if you're gonna operate your business, what do you look, what do you, if we're gonna restrict how many vehicles are gonna be there, what is gonna be good for your, 5-year, 10-year out plan, or, you know what I mean?
right now I have, with trailers, is trailers a vehicle?
No.
Okay, so,
A vehicle would be like, a vehicle.
okay,
I mean, we
I
could-
have 6 vehicles, 6 of my company vehicles.
Yeah.
And 6 potential employees. Again, I understand you have to go by the highest exposure. They're never, if the employees' vehicles are there, the other ones are not. But I get it. So I mean, I guess that's the best information I could.
But
I mean,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think Chairman Sokolowski is just saying, like, potentially if you're gonna grow your business larger, and you're at 6 now, like, so 6 and 6 with that overlap, maybe, for a half hour while people get out of their vehicles.
Sure, yeah,
or
absolutely.
whatever. Do you think your growth rate might be up to, 15 vehicles, 20 vehicles?
Well, I can
In
tell.
the next 5 years, because we're trying to make this easier for you.
Sure.
Because if you,
Yep.
have that growth potential, we don't wanna have to make you come in here every few years or whatever it is.
Well, I can say, if I had to answer the question right now, of course I can't. I mean, what I want is I have worked hard enough to have what I have. I don't see why I would need any additional. I could see replacing them, but I don't know why I would need additional. I mean, that's the best answer that I can have for you. I don't.
So you're basically saying that, you might get newer vehicles.
Yes,
But as you got newer vehicles, you would
Yes.
retire your vehicles.
there's a certain point you just can't, you have
No,
to,
no,
you know what I mean?
No,
It's-
and I understand that. I just, the idea is on that property,
Sure.
it's one of those things that I think we should condition because there's so many other vehicles already going on there that we should put some type of limit.
I agree with that. Just a limit of 10 or 12 seemed like that would.
Well, I'm certainly not trying to, is there any possibility if you had to put one, you could put 15?
Just gonna say,
I was
like,
thinking the same.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say 15, and I would also, encourage the applicant to work with the property owner to, think about some screening of vegetation there, in the future.
there's a lot of, well, I don't know when was the last time you would have been over there, but there's a lot of cover.
Where
Granted,
you are,
Yes.
I took a look, I
Yeah.
drove by, my wife and I and the dog took a ride, and I drove by both these spots and took a look, and, I could see, up in the back there,
Mhm.
you kind of almost got a spot for like fence and,
Mhm.
it's brushed, it's, there's vegetation there. But the other stuff down closer to the road is a little bit more unsightly.
Mhm.
So I just, that grows or something else happens, I just think that, if we put a 15 vehicle limit,
Sure. I mean, if that would be
we
fantastic.
just don't want, as much as it is industrial commercial up there, we also don't want it to turn into a junkyard,
I don't either. Yeah.
you can't have one.
I mean, do we want to say that we want some screening? Is that something that we can?
Well, I would say maybe that the screening that is there could, I don't know how much if you're trying,
So I have a question. Are you talking about sort of dividing the properties with screening, or are you talking
no,
about?
no, it's from the public way.
Okay,
I mean, I think I think maybe, it's much my fault as it is anybody else's. We maybe should have talked about some screening or some stuff with the previous applicant, but I think, as long as he keeps the 20 vehicles and then, the select board authorized the other person at 15. And, it's just, and I'm fine with where that parcel where Jeff's parcel is, having 15 to include, he said, registered or unregistered, maximum number of vehicles, 15, and that's vegetation screening at the entrance to that parcel stays intact. I mean, obviously you can do maintenance to it. but-
I can easily rearrange things too, so nobody sees anything based on how it is, which I understand. I'm just saying so that nobody has a problem with it and causes a reason to.
you know. Um,
Adam, I
Yeah.
can say that half those vehicles by my fence when you go by, they're all done. I'm waiting for the customer to pick them up.
Yeah, I understand that, it's just,
I hate it having that many there, and I normally don't.
right, and I know, it seems like
And I
it's
see it
slowly,
forces to come in, I'm like, hey, it's done, here it is.
right,
And I got someone that's been there for 3 weeks now, sitting.
right, so,
No offense to the member of the audience, but his mess, it sounds like, potentially, isn't really this applicant's problem.
no, but he's saying the same
But you're
problem.
worried
is
about it getting becoming
Exponential,
more,
so,
even though it's.
I think, you always try to look back on what permits have we done in the past, what's worked well, what do we look at that maybe we should have done a little bit better on?
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, there's another permit that we granted in the past couple of years, and and I know Bob's working on it, and, I brought it to his attention because he's our enforcement agent on a couple of things that, need to be addressed. And,
Yeah.
I think if we get ahead of it and we say, all right, well, 15 is the limit,
Oh, yeah,
and we
no,
want the
limit's
applicant
fine,
to do, their best to maintain that, visibility from the road.
Mhm.
That's there, then, it's one of those things where down the road or something happens, then, the town has a little bit of enforcement, and
Yeah.
we try to keep all,
Mhm. I hear you. Yep, and it sounds, well, I was just gonna say, it sounds like the applicant's willing and recognizes that there's a way to sort of hide most things from.
Hide is
from
such
the
a bad
road.
word. It just sounds bad, but
Yeah,
I can arrange it so it's
Not as.
more out of sight
Out
than,
of sight, yeah,
I mean, there's nothing that's easy.
yeah. And there's no buildings that we're talking about here. It's just an open lot.
I
that you
just,
Put stuff on.
the only thing I have there is, I have 3 storage containers, shipping movable containers, that the tools go in and locked. So there's,
well, I mean, any of these people that get contractor slots, they can come get a building permit as long as it's under 10,000 square feet, right, Bob? You can add a building,
Yeah, you could add a building, yes.
right, on both these ones that we've just did, they could,
Mhm.
people only have to come to us if it meets the criteria for size and use and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's basically more on use where the auto dealer was by right because he had the little building. So that was just allowed. That's why we didn't have any way to get involved in that one. The zoning board didn't have a way to get involved in that one.
The only thing I would ask to add for an additional condition besides analysis, I would just stay with the applicant.
Yep, no, I agree, I think we're kind of all on the same page in that. So I would entertain unless, so would the applicant be okay with a limit of 15 vehicles registered or unregistered?
yes.
And, maintaining the vegetation that's up there now on that, property. The application for the permit would stay with you,
Mhm.
the applicant as presented. And then, we want to make sure the same language we used with the last applicant, that all of our applicants are in compliance with anybody else that they have to be in compliance with.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And we're gonna say, or, yeah, I'm good with all that. Anything else?
Contact information.
Yeah, contact information.
with the term.
Clarify what you're saying about the vegetation.
That the vegetation should be maintained, that's in place there.
I'm not looking to do any,
I mean, there's some pretty good sized trees.
Do we want to kind of, it sounds like there's a certain amount of screening that's already in place, and we want that to stay or grow.
Right, so we want that
We
to.
don't want it clear. you
Right,
know
so
what I mean?
we want it to be, I think maintained, and then, if there's ever an issue, then it's up to the building inspector to enforce it, so obviously, if a tree gets struck by lightning and they fall down and clean up, it's maintained,
Mhm.
and the applicant does what's reasonable to keep things from the road.
I
where-
guess I'm just wondering if there's any bit of language to put in there to say, with the intention of keeping it screened, like, he understands that now, we're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if it's important enough to be that specific, or if just what you're saying, maintain the vegetation, essentially gets the point across.
I think so.
So the applicant shall maintain the screening vegetation within the property.
Yeah.
boundary or something.
And I think, obviously, things change and there's more parcels there that get developed, or people come from more permits on some of those other parcels there, then that's close to the road, then we would maybe have an opportunity to say, all right, well, now I think you need to do some, fencing or arborvitae's, or, some type of combination of screening. That would be down the road, but, we obviously want to promote business. It is a commercial area of town. We want to, it's the right place to have that type of stuff, but we also, want to keep some of the aesthetics going through.
Is there anything that we could say about the vegetation, like where it's located? Is this vegetation that's along River Road?
It's not, it's kind of up on the hill. But there's some, and I'm not exactly, you'd have to pull the property map up. There's some old growth, older growth trees that are established and stuff like that. And then there's some more of the garden variety brush around them.
Mhm.
But, we want to make sure that the applicant can, trim it and use it, but obviously keep some of that. You can see it,
The heavier, darker
yeah,
is the vegetation.
yeah. So,
And don't forget, if that's the railroad.
That's
the
the rail-
railroad's gonna come in and cut it down.
no, the railroad's this
Across.
is the asphalt terminal, but if you're facing River Road, well, there's two lines that say River Road, but there's,
Yeah, I think that's
Is that
there.
an old one?
No,
River Road's at the top of the screen.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
I'm
it's
just
actually-
looking at
there's
the
two-
red that goes-
the other red is Pan Am Railways.
Right, so there's, but isn't there a railroad across there? I'm just saying that because I live right next to the railroad track, every year, the railroad company.
Oh,
comes
right.
and does clearing. So I just want to make sure if they go over where we might consider a boundary, that they're not cited because that's not.
No,
in their-
there's no site in the railroad. They do whatever they want.
Yeah, they have their
But
permanent
there's
easement.
another piece of property.
There's another section 8 there that Doug owns as well.
Okay. Oh, all right, so that's separate. I'm sorry. It looked in the map, it looked like
It's
7 and
weird,
8 were
yeah.
together, so my apologies.
My concern was just kind of for some of those older growth trees and some of that stuff
Down in the front of.
on the
along
north
River
side
Road.
there.
Okay.
of his spot, that those should,
Those 18 cut down.
those would be kind of maintained, and that helps screen out.
Right, yeah. If you cleared out that whole point, all of a sudden, everything is wide. open.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
And it was a mess, but
You
yeah.
can ask or recommend, that certain things be done.
Yeah.
But then
Also,
again-
if you want.
But then again, when you're looking above the 7, to the right of those 3 vehicles in a row, visually, you can't tell how large of a opening that is to get trucks in and out. So we've also got to make sure that, he's got enough room to get the vehicles in. and
Yeah,
out.
no, I agree. I mean, that's why I said maintained, it's not a do not cut order or cut and replace, it's a,
Yeah.
what's reasonable.
Sure. Sounds good to me.
All right, so now we can close the public hearing then.
And again,
Yeah.
no butters, nobody else.
No one else, anybody else online before we close the public hearing? All right, I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Dave Sharp, aye.
David Carter, aye.
Adam Sokoloski, aye.
Jennifer Remillard, aye.
Alex Hirschenritter, aye. know what everybody else feels like, but I would be supportive of entering the email that was sent reflecting the response to all of the criteria as the findings of fact. I'm in support of all those. Referencing Section 5321 through 26.
Yep. I would say that if you want to add those in and make and entertain the motion to approve it with the conditions that we talked about in the public hearing, I'm fine with that. Unless any other board members have anything else to add or want to entertain anything, anybody else's thoughts?
All set.
Are you making that motion?
Oh, you can.
Okay, all right, so I will make a motion to approve this special permit for Jeff Berniski at map 9, lot 6, with the following conditions and authorize the chair. Oh, sorry. That's
So
Doug
we-
Ryan. Sorry, map 9, lot 7, with the following conditions and authorize the chairman to sign. And those conditions are: the special permit shall remain with the applicant. The applicant shall obtain all necessary, did we talk about that?
Yep.
The applicant shall obtain all necessary permits, licenses, and other approval from any board, commission official, or other agency or agent of the town of Deerfield, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, or the federal government. The applicant shall provide contact information to be on file with the town for emergency purposes. The applicant shall limit the number of vehicles to 15 on the property, and the applicant shall maintain the screening vegetation within the property boundary.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right,
Dave Sharp, aye.
can we get a second?
Second,
Oops, sorry. Dave Sharp, aye.
Jennifer Remillard, I.
Alex Hirschenrider, aye.
Okay, Adam Sokoloski, aye.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Jeff.
I appreciate it. Sorry about the,
Just make sure that, after you get the permit, and we forgot to tell the other guy, make sure you have it reported at the registry of deeds.
Yep.
So it's on the,
Make
if,
sure.
even though the permit, even though that the permit goes with you, so if you leave and there's another lessee, then that goes away. But then that way, it shows that on there for a matter of record.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other business? Next meeting. Alex, do you have any insight? We have any, anything pending here? Coming in?
No, not that I know of.
Not that you know of, all right. All right,
We look at our November, that's the Thursday, or the Thursday before Veterans Day.
yeah, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, it's election week and.
Oh, I know,
let's
that
just-
week
let's
is
not
all jammed up for me.
Do you post a meeting even if there's nothing going on, just to have it on the books and then you cancel if nothing comes up, or do we meet
Other way
regularly?
around. So we'll normally meet either quarterly.
Yeah.
Or we try the second Thursday if there's, the second Thursday is like when we're in with like
Yeah.
Zoom and all that stuff, is if there's an applicant.
Okay,
But we've been a little bit flexible. We tried for the second Thursday, that has worked. I don't know, I mean, I'm always open to, this is not a good night for me type
Sure,
response,
yeah.
because we still have an open seat, we still need another member.
Yeah.
So we gotta make sure that, for the people that have the courage to volunteer, that we're doing what we can to accommodate them, but we also, there's a certain amount of time we have to, of lead time with the newspaper and all
Yeah.
that posting requirement.
right.
So,
Well, good night, everybody. I'm getting out of here.
all right, good night, Bob, thanks.
Thank you.
You're saying the 10th doesn't work for you?
No, the 10th doesn't work for me. I'm gonna, after I get out of work, I'm gonna leave town.
I'm not good on the 10th.
Either
So
one.
it would be December 8th would be the December normal meeting night.
Sound
the rain, it's really heavy.
Yeah,
No, that might be.
6:30 is a normal time, always?
it's December 8th. Yeah, I tried 6:30 so we can get out of here earlier.
Okay.
So we'll set that on the calendar.
We'll set that on the calendar. If any applications come in, I'll direct the administrative staff to schedule it for that night. In the event, if nothing comes in, they'll have them send out an email. Say,
Great. What time does Bueno close? Anyone know? Is it
uh,
8? Am I out of luck?
You might,
We might
well,
make it.
I'm really happy that I have a raincoat next door.
I
I
have to
haven't
put a
been
graphic
in the
here.
car.
It's closing soon, it says, Dave.
Is it? Okay, all right. It's
Yeah.
eggs again.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All
Dave
those in
Sharp, aye.
favor? Dave Sharp.
Dave Sharp, aye.
In favor, Dave Potter.
Adam Sokolowski.
Jennifer Remillard, aye.
Alex Hirschenreiter, aye.
They close at 8:30, Dave.
Oh, it is 8:30?
Yep, it says 8:30. You're good to go.
Maybe I'll put an order for it.
Do it from the app and you don't even have to.
I know, I was, yeah.
Okay, so we're done. I can stop recording.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure.